All right, so on the line here we have um, one of probably like when I first started this game, I heard about you, Miggo. Like I heard about indiabot, and I remember I would
Yeah,
Google on YouTube how to play India AOE 3, and I would come
yeah,
across your profile name, and I'd be like, oh, okay, this guy knows India, and so it only made sense that we did the proto casual with you. And the other name that I always saw with India was Tit, and so we'll definitely have him on for the second part. And
yeah.
so, thank you, Migo. If you want to say hi to the viewers, and if you have anything, you want to just say a hello.
Hey guys.
Awesome. All right, so let's get into it. We have a couple of exciting questions lined up for you, and then we'll show off one of your ESOC Premier League matches with Snow. And
Yeah.
yeah, and so let me just kind of jump right into it. So the first thing is just talk about the history. I know this sounds dramatic, but history of India through EP and now DE. Like, how do you think it started out in RE? How do you think EP changed it? And how do you think DE accepted those ESOC
Wait,
patch changes?
from RE to DE or EP to DE?
I guess kind of both, because I know that they
Both.
took a lot of changes of EP into DE. So
Yeah.
just kind of talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, well, India in RE obviously was very known for their strong sepoy
Hmm.
because they have 190 HP, which is a lot and means they cannot get killed by two town center shots, which is a very important feature.
Okay.
And then, uh, I mean, also they kind of perform well on low hunt maps and RE, like the map pool, obviously, most of the maps don't have a lot of hunt. On EP, it's a bit different because the hunts are a lot more plentiful. So you cannot really play the contain game as well as on RE. And
Okay.
also the sepoy, I don't remember which iteration it was, but I think it was one of the earlier iterations where they got nerfed to 180 HP, which means they still trade quite well with musketeers, but they're just not as good versus town centers.
I
And
think also another highlight is in EP the crossbows are better, right? So most civs like Germany can handle the sepoys better, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, that's the accuracy, or rather the inaccuracy was removed, so they don't miss anymore. But that was actually one of the later changes. So throughout most of EP's history, that didn't really matter. Um,
Okay.
I haven't really played India a lot on DE. I think they're mostly the same as the latest EP patch,
Hmm.
and yeah, I think they're going to be all right just because they, compared to the EP 8.2 or something, they did receive some buffs. Um, to name them, the 600 wood shipment was changed to 700 wood. Same for the 600 coin shipment. The two siege elephants now only cost 350 food. And I believe there were also some Ottoman consulate changes. The Minutemen again cost as much as they did on RE. And yeah, I think that should make India again a fairly decent civ. But yeah, I haven't tested them a lot, so I cannot say for sure.
Okay. No, that's good to know. I'm actually gonna fire up DE just to kind of go through a deck for India, just so we can kind of see some of those changes a little bit more clearly.
Yeah, sure.
So give me just one second. It'll be a game with the bot, so it won't matter, obviously. Let me share the screen here so you can see at the same time and the viewers can see as well. So Age of Empires definitive. Okay. So when working with India, right? So the biggest changes you highlighted perfectly were that it's 700 now, and we used to get 600. And we
Yeah.
still get a villager with these shipments, so they didn't take that away, which is nice. Um, so do you think that this is like a crazy buff, or do you think this is just, it's nice? It's
No, I don't. I mean, changes like these, I think you can never really say they're like a crazy buff because it's just like getting a 90 wood treasure, and getting a 90 wood treasure is about being lucky, kind of.
yeah,
And this is a constant thing. Like this is something that you can rely on.
yeah.
But getting a 90 wood treasure usually also won't make a unfavorable matchup a favorable matchup. So
Hmm.
I think the same applies to having 100 more resources in a crate shipment.
That's fair. I do want to talk about one unit in particular because it's going to come up a lot when people use this card, the Rajput. Because, so just to give you some perspective, I played the game since it was pretty much released, like back in 2005, and then in 2010, and now it's 2020. So almost 10 years, and I've probably played India the most. And so I'm definitely excited about this Pro to Casual. And one of the biggest things I want to ask you is about the Rajput, because I would never use that unit. Because whenever
You
I
have
would
to
look at
ask
that unit,
Ace about this. Like,
whenever I
I
would use that unit, I'd be like, why don't I just build a sepoy? They have virtually the same stats. They are just a little slower. They have a multiplier versus cav, but sepoys are better in certain ways. Long story short, do you think martial arts having an extra 30% buff to Rajput is a very good thing?
I cannot answer this question completely because I'm not entirely sure if they implemented the latest EP patch Rajputs, because those actually have more speed. I think 5.5. So together with that card, 30% more attack, I could imagine, or I could see them being viable in certain situations.
Okay, okay. I could see that. Okay. Um, and then one other key tip. So for age one and age two, your India gameplay is pretty much the same because like none of these cards really have changed that much.
Yeah,
Commerce Age, you just got the crate buffs, I guess, and those are tiny. The Rajput change. Everything else is pretty much the same. Um, yeah, yeah. And I guess the big thing I wanted to highlight was that obviously, I mean, these are changes for everyone. Like Silversmith makes mines last longer, but that's not really relevant for India. Um, Grazing was always kind of just bad. It was never,
yeah.
you never found it useful, right? I mean, I thought it was cool,
No,
but then I found actual numbers, and it's like you
yeah,
needed 40 camels sitting, like not even moving,
yeah.
and they create like 2 food a second, something like that.
It's yeah, I've heard similar things. Like if you have basically a full pop army,
Yeah.
it's still not as good as a foreign logging shipment in terms of the gathering, and that's obviously not very good.
Yeah, and the key thing that people don't realize is the troops have to be idle. Like
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
you can't like be kiting with zams and collecting food.
Yeah, and you don't want a full pop army just sitting around. Like,
Yes, yes. Um, all right. So, did you ever find a use for the Raj? That's one thing I wanted to highlight because I know some people will ask, why don't we use the Raj and play India like Europe? What do you
I
think
don't
of
think
that?
it's good. I mean, India, anyways, has already the first two market upgrades for wood research.
Hmm.
So even though wood is the resource that takes longest to collect, India sort of like it's not a big problem for them. And then you also usually want to send both trickles.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, a full H2 shipment just to make your villagers cost food instead of wood just doesn't. I don't know what build you would do where it would ever make sense. So
Okay. No, I agree with that. Um, did you ever like conscript sepoys? The +2.
No, I have not, but I have seen Howdah use it, but it was mostly a troll build. It wasn't an EPL match versus
Ah,
Lucas.
okay.
It didn't even seem that bad, but I don't think it's worth it either,
Okay.
because as far as I know, you don't get villagers anymore when you send that shipment.
Okay.
You only get the 2 sepoys with each shipment, so uh, it's not very like it's sort of something that you would want to use for a timing,
Mm-hmm.
but for a really good timing, you really would prefer to have like a single good unit shipment rather than one that sort of makes you get a boost over time. It's like, I don't know, the card itself doesn't really fulfill a purpose well enough to be viable.
No, I get it. I get it. You'd rather like send 700 wood, send 700 gold, age up, than send 9 sepoys. You know, make a full
Yeah,
2 full batches and hit, versus like
exactly.
slowing down that momentum with conscript sepoys. Here's
Yeah,
2.
exactly.
Yeah, I get it. I
And
get it.
you and
Yeah.
you lose the India scaling bonus of getting a villager with each shipment. So
Yeah, I think that's a huge bonus. I really liked that.
yeah,
Um, all right, so the last card that I've seen viable in a lot of team games and in a lot of 1v1s is good faith agreements. Um, what do you think of the good faith boom, where you send distributivism, then you send good faith because you always usually have a spare card, and then you go into just sending 700 gold, 300 export, and you age, or not, sorry, you send 700 wood, or you send 300 export immediately
yeah,
as your
yeah.
third card,
First,
and then you
yeah,
go carny and you're just collecting all the France crates for that amount of XP. Do you think
yeah.
that that's a viable build?
I think it's not bad. But of course, you want a TP directly from your starting crate, because if you don't, you're just going to not have a shipment for a very long time in second age.
Okay.
And like if you just go distributivism and good faith agreement,
Mhm.
unless you get like a very big XP treasure, you
Mhm.
just you're just going to have to wait very long to send anything in H2, and delaying H2 shipments is never something you want.
Okay. Um, and the other quick thing was, do you ever do an Agra in base versus an Agra like out there attacking the enemy or controlling, containing the enemy?
Yeah, I actually do that very often. Many people don't agree with that. Um, I I'm not entirely sure if it's the best thing to do, but
Mhm.
just like from my experience, I tend to get away with it, and I I tend to play like a semi fast fortress with that,
Okay.
and then go for like a timing push, unless my opponent is aggressive, of course.
Mhm. Okay. No, I like that. I personally love the Agra base because it allows you to just save 200 wood on the racks, and it's like a safe barracks, and you can get all the market upgrades easier, and you can kind of boom a bit with the Agra base, and
Yeah,
like
it's
raids aren't a problem, all that, all the good stuff.
yeah, it definitely has a lot of advantages over have aging with the Carnimata, because
Yeah.
you just like aging with the Carnimata, you just make yourself very vulnerable to all sorts of builds. Like for example, a 5 Hus semi FF can really disrupt you if you don't have an Agra.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree. Because Agra comes with those 2 sepoys, and with 2 sepoys, TC Fire Explorers, you can stop even the 5 Hus. So
Yeah,
I see that.
and
Um,
if
yeah,
you suffer, you still have the Minutemen, the melee Minutemen.
yeah, yeah. You can always call sentries. You can stop a lot of rushes. So I see that. If you were to, so one of the big nerfs that everyone's talked about is the Team 4 urumi in H3. Do you think that that's a huge nerf? Because it used to be, it's still 600 food, so it costs the same, but
Yeah.
it's 1 less urumi for everyone.
Well, basically, what that means is that I don't think it's good in 2v2, because it's only 8 Urumi for another extra 100 food. But the
Yeah.
difference being, like I'd rather send 7 urumi than 8 urumi,
Yeah.
where I have 4 and my teammate has 4, because urumi are better in like larger force, because usually they'll get kited and you'll end up only attacking with a few,
Yep.
and like just you'll do more damage with 7 in one area rather than you and your teammate having 4 on like 2 different from 2 different angles.
Yeah, and you're
And
just gonna be like yelling at your teammate to micro Urumi when
yeah,
it would just be
and they
nicer for you to do it yourself.
exactly, and he also has to not forget them in his base and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah. No,
But
that's one of my biggest frustrations with that card because I'll have to tell my teammates like, use your Urumi, push them up.
yeah, in 3v3 they're definitely still good, but in 2v2 I like you can still have the 4 urumi in deck if you want to, but
Hmm.
I would always first send the 7.
Okay, okay, and so just showing you here, the only last real buff to India, but this is a buff to everyone, is the TC wagons now unlock a build limit. So the age 3 one makes you able to have 4 TCs and not 3. And the age 4 one, if you just send it alone, lets you have 5 and not 4. Um,
Mm.
what do you think about that?
I don't know. I don't. I suppose in team it could be nice, or if you like to play like Somali, Sombu.
Yeah.
But like for my play style, I don't really think that's like I wouldn't ever use that card.
Okay. Okay. No, that's. I mean, this is good to know. So it's more of a, it's more of maybe a team, but more like it's not as important. Because the ideas you're saying is you can just boom as much as you want to off 3 TCs. India doesn't need 2 extra TCs.
Uh, I would say it's more about like if I play India and I go H4,
Hmm.
I I kind of want to send infinite Urumi all the time.
Yeah.
Like if
Okay.
I'm not sending infinite Urumi, I want to be sending upgrades.
Yeah.
And like if I'm full pop, then obviously I want upgrades. But like 2 extra town centers, like you anyways have high wood income, so you should be relatively easily get 3 TCs if you
Yeah.
need them. And another 2 TCs, I don't think they're going to bring you a lot. Again, like if you play like Sampu, who likes
Hmm.
to like have TC in every corner of the map
Hmm.
and combines that with like colonial militia, I could see that being an option. But like yeah, for my playstyle, I
Okay.
wouldn't ever include that card in my deck.
Okay, no, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. All right, and the only real change to India is the 10. I love this change. The 10 Urumi card with the one Mansabdar enables you to build the Mansabdar Urumi again in the
Oh,
Charminar Gate.
that's quite neat.
Yeah. And they also auto heal now. I did not know that, but Urumi
What?
auto heal, like if they're
Okay.
idle. Um, they
So
they
like
they
Gurkha.
Yeah, but Gurkha, that was a mistake, I'm told, in the release. Like the most recent update had it in the writing that it wasn't supposed to be Gurkha that auto healed, it's supposed to be Urumi, and they just mistakenly put it on Gurkha.
Yeah.
And it confused people because, I mean, auto regenerating skirms would be awful for the game because you
Yeah.
would never be able to kill that Gurkha mass, until you finally engaged. Um,
Although if I remember correctly, it was that same way in EP, but
oh, it
the
was a EP, but like
I think it
featured that.
was, but like don't quote me on that, but
Sure,
I
sure.
think it was that way on EP, at
Hmm.
least at some point, but it wasn't like a very fast healing.
Oh, okay, okay.
But I think it dated back to RE. I'm pretty sure if you look at the Age of Empires 3 wiki, like the old
Hmm.
one, you will
Hmm.
see that it's says there that yeah, Kirka heal over time.
Oh, okay, okay. Um, and then yeah, you already highlighted the two siege jellies being a little cheaper. Um, Elephant combat now boosts by 20%, not 15. I thought that was nice, but I think they overall nerfed the Mahout stats from ERE. But I will quote in the comments for sure. But and lastly, everyone knows about Green Jackets, there was a bug, but now they fixed that bug, so it just works like it should, which just
Yeah.
adds a modifier. So yeah, that's all for DE changes. Do you have any comments on building like a versatile land deck? Because what I would do from all my experience is I would probably build it like where I would, what cards am I missing? I would maybe put in
What are we for, 1v1 or team?
team, let's say 3v3, the ideal
Oh,
team
3v3.
3v3. Yeah.
Oh
Or
gosh.
what are you most comfortable with? Are you more 1v1 player?
Yeah, I'm definitely. I mean, for a time, like a period
Yeah.
of time, I used to play a lot of team,
Yeah.
but like especially the last year, I've almost only been playing 1v1. So
This is my usual 1v1 deck. I don't mind if you trash it. But tell me what you think and what you would change.
yeah, so I personally play with a lot of decks. So for example, CM I think is a very situational card
Okay.
because India anyways is very good at defending. So there's very few matchups where it actually makes sense.
Okay.
If we're just going to build like our standard deck, I would remove that
Okay.
and just put in a late game mill upgrade.
Ah, okay, okay, like food silos.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then for H2, let me see, the 25 Tiger Claws you can remove.
Mm-hmm.
And in H2, I would basically have exactly the same, just
Just the 10.
I yeah, actually that, and remove 5 Tiger Claws and have the Desert Terror card.
So you would put in Desert Terror. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And the
So talk
reasoning
to me
is,
about that. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, Camel Attack is still the card you want to send first if you're um, making a lot of camels, just because it's overall very good. And Desert Terror is like it obviously only affects the corresponding unit when they're attacking the unit they counter anyways.
Mm-hmm.
But when they do attack that unit, they do get quite a significant boost as well. So it's always a good card, um, especially useful if you're in a like late H2 situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then martial arts is of course also good just because it affects every unit in melee.
Yeah, so sepoys against cav, Sowars against archers and heavy infantry, all of that. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And the 10
I
tiger
agree.
claws, they're I I would say that's the most optional card in H2 from these 10.
Mm-hmm.
But I personally like to have them in my standard deck just because they're like quite often you're like in a situation where I don't know, maybe your opponent is in H3 and has a decent scrim mass, and you're like, oh, I somehow need to counter that. And
Yeah. Okay.
often a good way to do that is just like sending Tiger Claws.
Okay. I agree. All right, and then for age 3, the only things I have is 6 Sowar as a card worth it? Because I find that Sowar, I hate building them, if I can just be honest. I struggle with their low HP, they don't have any upgrades, like they have British East India Company and Camel Attack, but that's kind
Yeah.
of it. And
Well,
they
they have Desert Terror, which gives them another extra, um, what is it?
.5 hand attack against infantry. Oh,
Yeah.
and action damage, I guess, as well.
Well, it's not 0.5 damage. It's the multiplier bonus. So
Oh, so they kill archers better, but at the same time, they do minus. Oh, they lowered it. It's minus .1 damage bonus to heavy infantry. I think it used to be minus .5, if I'm not
uh,
mistaken.
no,
But
I'm pretty sure. Like the way that these things work is
yeah.
that when a unit is only supposed to counter light infantry, and
Hmm.
I mean Squirm type light infantry and not Coyote Runner,
Yeah, yeah.
um, they have to showcase it in this weird way where they give a multiplier versus like all infantry, and then they
Hmm.
take it away by subtracting a multiplier with heavy infantry.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, they always do like the normal base damage versus heavy infantry, but they just do the multiplied damage versus light infantry.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know, it's a weird thing, and it also took me a very long time to understand that, just because there's basically two light infantry types, and
Yeah, yeah.
that's why you see this weird times 3 versus infantry, and then point times 0.333 versus heavy infantry. Um,
Oh, so is it that if they didn't put in the minus, it would make Sowars really good versus like Ashy or muskets, and that
yeah,
wouldn't make
exactly.
any sense? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like if they didn't have the minus the negative multiplier versus heavy infantry, they
Yeah.
would just be good versus all infantry. They would be like a lancer. But because
Okay.
they're meant to only counter skirm type units, they need to add the negative heavy infantry multiplier.
Okay. And that works for Japan too with the Naginata card in H3. And then I know
Yeah,
it, like I've seen this in a lot of different cards, so I always wondered. Thank you so much actually for explaining that.
yeah, and it's also obviously super messy if you look at the card, because it's like 100 lines of text. And
Yeah. Um, okay, so for H3, what do you think of this matchup? The biggest thing I miss, but I like this deck now, is 1,000 wood and 1,000 coin. But do you feel like that's unnecessary for India or not as necessary?
so first of all, I like again talking like I like to have several decks,
Yeah.
but if we're just talking like our standard deck, I would remove the Gurkha times 3 versus heavy infantry.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, the reason is actually quite simple. Like India doesn't have any problems versus heavy infantry, so you never really need to send a card with which to counter heavy infantry harder. Like you have for most
Interesting.
of the
Okay.
for most of the game, you have the best heavy infantry unit. Very late game, perhaps Ashigaru with all their upgrades are going to be better, but
Hmm.
like that's not the kind of situation you're going to be in most 1v1s. So um, and then you also have Gurkhas, which are anyways counters to heavy infantry. So you don't really need that. And I agree with you about the 6 Sowar. I
Yeah.
like in H3, you already have to upgrade. Like if you go sepoy Gurkha, you already have to upgrade 2 units. You don't really want to upgrade your Sowar as well, and that makes shipping them, of course, less interesting as well.
Yeah.
So I would rather have 2 and 3 Mahouts.
Okay. The scaling of the third Mahout card always bothered me because this is 350 for two, and then I'm paying 1,000 for three. But
Yeah, but
you would still say it's totally worth it?
it's worth it because as far as I know, the unit costs exactly those 650, but it costs partially wood. So
Oh,
at the end of
okay.
the day, it's still like a better shipment than the 2 Mahouts. But the reason I like having both is because sometimes if you want like a big timing, having that
Hmm.
extra Mahout can be very impactful.
Yeah,
And sometimes you just don't have enough food. So I don't know, you can just send like the 2 Mahout.
got it.
But
Okay.
at the end of the day, they're both good cards. And it's like still the best cavalry option that India has, as sad as that
Yeah.
sounds.
No, I understand. I've been through that that depression of not having a strong cheap hand cav.
Yeah,
That is something that a lot of our clan brought up. So by the way, as you know, I'm part of the Royal Clan. So we put together these Pro2Casual videos. So I asked my whole clan, and one of the biggest questions I got, and I'll stop sharing the deck for a second, is what do you think of India having a lack of options for hand cav? Is that a nerf? Is that a buff? Is that okay? Does India not need hand cav? Talk to me.
Well, I mean, what most players would say is that every civ sort of has a weakness. Like Brits, for example, doesn't have skirms, so naturally they're going to struggle versus civs with very strong heavy infantry. And
Okay.
the best example for that is India. India having very strong muskets with the sepoys. It has, for most, like I would say maybe not the latest EP patch, but for most of EP and RE as well, it's been a good matchup for India just because of sepoys, and
Yeah.
Brits lack to counter that, and India has bad cavalry, which is their unique weakness. So I suppose it's all right. Like every civ can have a weakness or two, and that way the game remains mostly balanced.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. So let me quickly double check one of the other. So the other big question that we got was, let me pull it up. Strategy versus Inca. Oh, yes. Okay. How do you think India pairs up with the two new civs, Sweden and Inca?
Oh, I don't really have that much experience in that matter because I haven't really played India in this patch at all, and I
No,
don't
no, I
really
mean
know.
that's fine. I guess what I mean to say is, so we know Inca has um a strong boom potential. Like, how would you play versus Inca from what you know? I imagine
Versus
just
Inca.
pressure them early just so they can't contra boom, so we can't.
Well,
Yeah.
I've thought about is a couple of strategies. So, but they need testing in order
Mm-hmm.
to like validate if they're any viable. So I've thought like if Inca goes for like in-base boomy style, you could do a sort of consulate rush, and from the consulate with the 300 export, you get the grenadiers. And
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay.
uh, else, you could also just go with the classic like consulate rush and send for Sowars. I could see like both kind of working, but
Mm-hmm.
again, they at the end of the day can only tell after testing.
Mm-hmm.
And otherwise, I don't really know. Um, I don't think they're very good versus the stronghold, just because it's very it has a lot of damage, and siege elephants are good at siege, but that thing can get a lot of range as well. So if you want to go for a non-rush build order, I think your best bet is to go for like in early H3 timing, because if Inca has the ability to go H4, then they can get, I think, 35 range on the stronghold, and at that point, it's going to be near impossible to clean that.
Yeah, and they will protect water with that too. I just realized with that much range. So I think India definitely has to end the game sooner or pressure Inca so much that they are not just
Yeah,
booming everywhere.
exactly. Like just with the consulate rush, I think that would be probably your best bet. You have to obviously watch out if Inca fast aged. Definitely move your Vill away from your Agra fort, because there's a high probability that he will, I don't know, cheese you with an early 6 Chimu shipment or early big button.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. By the way, in the most recent patch for everyone, they canceled out the Chaskies receiving shipments in H2.
Oh yeah, true. So
So that's thank God. Like I was playing ranked and I was doing that, and I'll admit it shamelessly. It definitely brought me up a few ranks, but
yeah,
it's not the most unbeatable thing. I mean, you have to call Minutemen and get a unit shipment in H fast. So most civs
It's
can.
very costly, but if you
Yes,
get
yes,
like if you catch your opponent by surprise, obviously there is potential to do a lot of damage, and then
yeah.
it can pay off.
And also one thing to note, if Inca does do that, I mean, they're sacrificing some things. They're sacrificing their 4 vill shipment from the Contra. They're sacrificing a lot to pull that off quickly.
Yeah.
So, and the whole age up. With the age up, you could get 2 builder trova. You could get a lot of other things.
Although to
So,
be fair, I
yeah,
think Inca could still go early for builds from the house and then age fast with the llamas.
true, true. So
With
they'll
the
have
fast
16
age,
bills.
yeah, with the fast age and India being a slow aging civ, I still think you could get 6 Chimu runners on the Agra 4 before the Agra 4 is built. So still got to be mindful of that if Inca ages up very fast.
So so that you brought up a great point. That's a perfect example of where the Agra should be built in base or away.
Versus Inca,
Yeah,
well, if you go Consulate rush, obviously you want to go for aggressive.
yeah.
And if you go for a semi FF, like or just generally FF timing, then I think you want to place it more defensively.
Okay. I think India will definitely need to 10-10 in versus Swedes, or if Inca versus Inca, if India knows that they're gonna do the Chasky timing or
That
just the
could be an option. Yeah.
um there's the meta is still yet to be defined. We're taping this only a month out from DE's release, and as we both know, they've changed DE a lot with a
Yeah.
lot of different changes. So it's hard to say, but thank you for commenting on that. And then the other civ, Sweden, with their torp boom, with the massive mercenaries they can gather. What do you think India's options are there?
I think you could probably go for like a classic 12 sepoy, like 12 early sepoy push. Uh, Try to kill some villagers, idle a bit, and after that just siege some torps. I think before this patch, it wouldn't really be that good just because Swedes can catch your sepoys with their insane melee speed. But
Yeah.
now that it's like an ability they have to use, I don't think like it's not like you have to be very certain that you're going to win a fight if you're going to want to use it. So they're not going to be able to catch you everywhere all the time. So sieging their torps because of that, I think is going to become a lot more viable.
Okay. No, I agree. Um, that covers, I think, the questions from the clan. Let me see if there's any others. No. Yeah, you mentioned the Gurkha Consulate card's not worth it, and your reasoning for that was pretty solid. India does not have a problem with the musket, so it
Yeah,
should be able to
exactly.
beat that. Um, Let me share my screen for one more quick thing. One last card that I did want to ask you about. What do you think of the unit, the Howdah? Because I see a lot of top level players not putting the 2 Howdah card in their deck, and then I just don't see them build Howdah. And
Yeah.
we know that Howdah is really good, but is it hard to mass? Is it the scaling of it is just not right for 1v1? What's your thoughts?
Oh, well, the thing is, like for example, if you play versus Brits, as I said, they struggle versus sepoy, so you kind of want to make sepoy in that matchup.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a few other matchups where sepoy makes sense, like versus Japan, for example.
Mm-hmm.
In most other matchups, I would prefer Gurkha Zambarak combo, and Zams, like the advantage they have is just like sheer mobility, and I don't know. I think Howdahs could be perhaps more used. I personally like when I used them, it was mostly like full elephant builds, not
Mm-hmm.
like relatively normal FF, just replacing Zambaraks with Howdahs. Maybe they could be more seen, but I do kind of think that Zambrax fulfill the purpose better of just being good anti-cav.
Okay. And the last thing was to finish off the deck. What would you add in since we
Yeah,
took heavy?
so I would like again for the normal standard deck 7 Gurkha I would put in,
Okay.
and I would replace Elephant Combat with 8 Zambrax.
Sorry, it's that weird bug where they just take out a different card. It is
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah,
um.
but it's
Okay.
like this isn't really how you have to do it. Like you could like the cards that you could change, for example, are 7 Gurkha, 8 Zams. You could put in 1k gold if that's what you like.
Okay. That's a variation. Um. Okay.
Elephant
Yeah.
combat also isn't bad. It's just that
It's gonna only affect like 6 to 8 units at most.
yeah, you're just not I mean, I don't often find myself in a situation where I actually train elephants. Like if I send a unit upgrade, it's usually going to be my what's it called British East India Company for my
Yeah.
Gurkhas. And
Yeah.
elephant combat just for like my cav unit, of which I don't really want to have that many because they're not that good.
Yeah.
um I don't think it's the best card to have.
Okay. And then lastly over here in H4, the only question I had, I think all of these are, pretty standard cards to put in or not put in. I haven't really seen players use Jat Lancers, um, or, using the H2 Merc card with them. Do you think there's something to be said about that? Like, should Jat Lancers not be used? They're 400 gold, and they kind of act like a Spanish Lancer, but I think at the most they get 600 HP.
Yeah,
So, do you
so
think
the
they're not
problem
really a Hussar replacement? They're too expensive? What's your thoughts?
yeah, the thing is they're, yeah, as you said, 400 gold, it's a lot, it's as much as a man, but they tank less than half as much as a man. Of
Yeah.
course they're more of a lancer, so their role is less to tank but more to like kill infantry effectively. But you anyways have mahouts and Sowars, which already do mostly the same thing,
Okay.
and you have good infantry to deal with heavy infantry. So I don't really think it's very worth it.
Okay.
Again, also just because they're very expensive.
Okay. No, that's very true. Um, Tiger Claws, you made me take out. Tell me why you don't like Tiger Claws in H4. Is it just too late to get there?
I suppose you could switch the 5% for everything upgrade with 25 Tiger Claws. That
Okay,
that would
that's an
definitely be
option.
an option. I think in EP and RE, the shipment wasn't as good.
Hmm.
Like I don't recall there being 25 Tiger Claws. That's basically like the 26 Ratans from China.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
if I remember correctly, I believe it was still 25. Just no one really used this. So
okay,
people used Team 16 Tiger Claws because, it gave the whole team a bunch of Tiger
yeah,
Claws.
that's very good, of course.
Yeah, but
I
nobody really used 25.
I
So,
suppose that's definitely an option. I mean, the 5%, like the reason. Oh shit. The reason I don't think it's necessary to have the 25 is because you already have the 9 infinite urumi, which is sort of your go-to military shipment in H3.
ah, okay.
But
H4, yeah.
yeah, but still 25 Tiger Claws. I would say it's fine.
No, no, I see your point with that. I see your point with that. Um, I also really did like this card, Howdah Regiment, because it gave you a Mansabdar and a normal Howdah for 350, which is
Yeah,
really good for resource savings. But I see why you won't want to make Howdahs, which makes sense when you can make the cheaper Zamb. And in 1v1, games tend to not go super late. They tend to end by H3.
yeah. Like for example, versus Russia, I think I've seen a game. I think it was H2O, but I'm not entirely sure. He was playing. Yeah, pretty sure that was versus Russia, and he just had these two Howdahs, and they were basically killing the entire Russian army in its base. Like he didn't have any other military other than his TC fire, and just the thing with the Howdah versus Russia is they don't have any unit that can outrange them. So basically,
That's actually kind of funny.
Yeah,
That's
you can
hilarious.
kite their skirms, you can kite their muskets, you can kite their cav. I suppose there's some situations where they're actually very good. Also, this game definitely was H2O versus Mongo 10. I think 2016 or something. He prepared, I think it was a map specific build order versus China on Manchuria with early stagecoach and just very greedy overall. And he went for a big timing with Mahout, Howdahs, and Urumis. And it just did very, very good versus the Chinese army, just because Urumi, they kill the Changdaos. You have the Mahout, which just sort of tank everything. And then you have the Howdahs in the back just for overall DPS.
I wanna. You brought. Oh, sorry, I'm cutting you off. Please finish. But I do want to say something.
No, yeah. I just wanted to say, I think you can definitely do stuff with them. It's just we haven't seen it that much. But if you prepare something, then there's definitely a lot of potential.
Okay. I know it's getting late, so I want to wrap up 3 more cards and then just go into some YouTube gameplay of yours. And there's one other game I do want to mention if you remember it. So okay, all these other cards, the 3 I want to just end off with: Chakrams, sepoy resistance, and professional handlers. When do you see a use for them? And why don't more Indian players use Chakrams, which are like grenadiers? I can't compare stats though, but I imagine they're good, but maybe not. What's your thoughts?
I'm very sure they're very bad.
Okay.
Like they have an awful animation, not very good damage nor HP or anything, and like a worse grenadier. And like why send those when you have 9 infinite Urumis?
True to handle an infantry mass. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
It sounds like these 2 mercenaries are great, but Urumi are just proven and tested and infinite and cheap.
No,
you know?
I think Tiger Claws are good, but I just don't think Chakrams are good.
Okay, good to clarify. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sepoy resistance, just for
Yeah,
troll.
awful. I
Okay.
mean, like, what is that card? Like, that's basically 3,600 resources just to make every villager into a sepoy, just so that you
It's
can't gather
2,000,
anymore.
but yeah.
No, but you're sending in a shipment, so it's basically like 1,600. So it's like so it's like 3,600 resources just so that all your villagers can't gather anymore, and you have a few sepoys. Like,
Fair enough.
It's probably the absolutely worst card. Like even 300 food is more useful than that.
I will say in rated team games, I have used this to end a stalemate, but it is so incredibly risky if you get caught by cannons or anything like that.
I mean, I think the design is meant to be like a kind of revolt for India, but it's just way worse than an actual revolt.
Yeah, maybe they can add something to it to make it more, spicy. But
I mean,
this would be
just to clarify, I wouldn't even send that even if it was for free. Like even if you didn't have to spend anything, I wouldn't send that because like you have to win the game directly after that because you don't have any eco anymore. So
yeah.
It's yeah.
No, I agree. And professional handlers, better in treaty, better in like team, late game, just not worth it early.
I would assume in treaty it's a definite must-have, but I'm not a treaty expert, so.
No. I mean, I would agree with you. Yeah, makes sense.
In team, I think it's probably good if you plan on like going mostly or like only elephants,
Okay.
And in 1v1, I don't know if you want to go like um very heavy elephants as well. I suppose you could uh you could put that as well,
Yeah, but it's a
because
little risky, I feel, to throw.
it's a little risky. But then again, like, just remove the mill card in H1 and you have a slot for that. So
Okay. Oh, and I guess I'm glad you brought that up. I find this might just be a 1v1 question. I find I have no like space or timing to send any eco upgrades in a 1v1.
as
Is that
India,
just as most civs, like as Germany, as India, as yeah, maybe Russia I need to send refrigeration just cuz the food costs and the batches, but
yeah.
I don't find myself like dying to send an eco shipment. I actually try to throw as much military or crates as I
No,
can.
that's definitely true. I mean, India also, anyways, doesn't have a lot of eco shipments. Like, they only have Royal Mint in H3, and
Yeah,
other than that, like a few mill and plantation cards, which are sort of underwhelming in supremacy.
yeah,
And yeah, I have to agree with you. Like, for most civs, you almost only want unit and like crate and upgrade, like unit upgrade shipments,
okay,
and like the occasional one or two eco cards.
yeah, okay. That covers all the deck tech. This is for everyone watching. This is sample India deck. I'll stick back to your original recommendation. So milk card. You could actually argue to throw in good faith as well. I
Yeah,
imagine
but
Team Sumplas is useless in 1v1, maybe in 4v4, but still could be
yeah,
used.
I mean, again, like, I say you want to have a lot of decks,
Hmm.
so like I would have a separate deck for good faith agreement.
Just to have like a good faith boom, or like just to do the Carney boom. Fair enough.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the one like do you ever oh I think they changed this card. Favorable karma used to be 50%. So I think it's another 10% to the
Yeah,
explorers.
it's still
Still
not.
pretty bad, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like off base stats, which is like 250. So
Oh, that's only gonna
250
be
HP.
2.5 or no 25. That'll be 25 HP. But yeah,
What? No, it's
because
60. Oh yeah, 25 extra compared to before.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense. Well, 50 total because you have two, but it's not. It's still not very good.
it's not. Yeah. Um, the only other card that I've seen other players debate on is Trade Empire, because they were saying, why don't you send this card, build another TP, and you have a two TP start as India.
I don't know. I think
What do you
that's
think of
more
that?
of an ace card. Like, I suppose he can make a few builds work with that, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't personally send that.
Okay. All right. That's pretty much it for the deck tech. Let's get on to videos. One key video I wanted to ask you if you remember, because I remember I think this game was the reason that they nerfed the ceasefire.
Ceasefire.
I don't know
Yeah,
if you
I knew it
recall.
was coming.
Which game was it where it's like one player, I forgot the player, but it was in Deccan, and he hit H4 when his opponent was Brit, and the Brit massed a massive army of
Ah,
musketeers, hussar, had some cannons, and he jumped up to H4 as India, sent
I
the Mansabdar Urumi, and just crushed everything with the ceasefire.
I'm not very sure, to be honest, but I imagine it was either Tabin or Turk.
It might have been Tabin. I think
Yeah,
you're right.
because those were the two, like, top tier India players at the time, or top tier players who played India, and yeah, I think it was one of them.
Oh, you actually have a championship qualifier versus Tavin. Do you want to talk about that one? No, I'm just teasing.
Uh, no, I don't really want to. That was one of my weakest performances, and
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah, I wouldn't really. we don't have to dive into that.
Okay. I'm just teasing you. But all right. So I'll look at that video later. But I think everyone knows about the ceasefire cheese. But for anyone wondering, it's
Well,
basically
it's not cheese. It's
it's
like meta.
it's meta. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
the idea, or you can explain it best. Why would you say ceasefire needed to be nerfed?
Well, because essentially, like, what you do is you get like a decent mass of sepoy, which are just all around good damage dealers. You send your urumi, you run towards your opponent who is immobile with his falcons, trying to siege down your Agra, together with a lot of scrims and goons to cover those. A few seconds before you actually are on top of his army, you call the ceasefire button so as to minimize the damage that is being dealt to you
As
while
you're
you walk towards
approaching.
him. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, as you're approaching. And then your opponent, knowing he cannot fight you while all of your stuff is on top of him, is trying to retreat. And he still won't really save all the stuff. Like, if he runs away, you will probably quite easily kill his falcons mostly for free, and perhaps even kill his scrims after that if you got to snare them. Otherwise, if he just stays there, he's just going to absolutely get demolished. And yeah, it's just not very. There's not a whole lot you can do, and it's super easy to click that button and just walk upon your enemy with sepoys and urumis.
Yeah. No, I agree. All right, so let me go into your game now, the Snow versus indiabot. Let me share the screen, and let's see. Yeah, it's gonna be that. So we're gonna hear a little bit of the audio, but I'll turn it off as well. But tell
Okay.
me. So if you want, I can just play like a minute or two, or you just tell me how you want to direct this. Why did you want to highlight this game?
Fascinating.
I think we can turn off the audio completely, or
Okay, that works.
yeah. I don't know. It's just a solid game, or I suppose. I mean, to be fair, what Snow did was, I think he was kind of suspecting me to go for a more casual or a more standard early 12 sepoy in your base kind of playstyle.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. This was a good game. Otherwise, I have a few games where I played versus Russia, where it's like a lot about base defense. I remembered. I wanted to choose this one just because this is like my go-to strategy with India.
Okay.
I would say this is the one you can do versus most civs.
Okay.
And like the exceptions are Russia, where you have to play quite defensively. But
Okay.
this semi-FF style is good versus most other civs.
Okay. That sounds good. 1 second. Okay. So sorry, I'm back. Keep going. I just had my brother come into town, so I wanted to say hi. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there was nothing really left to say. We can just take a look at the game.
Okay, perfect. So the matchup is India versus Brits. Generally, when I play this matchup, I make a few sepoy. I might Agra somewhere to take some hunts, and I'll usually push with sepoy here and there just to poke and try to get up to 3. Would you say that
Yeah,
that's the meta? What would you say?
I would say that's what probably most people do. But
Okay.
like the problem in this matchup playing as India is you cannot really like if you go early 12 sepoy, although I think it's meta, I don't think it's very good just because Brits usually is going to be able to defend that quite easily with tower and muskets of their own.
Yeah.
And you're just going to basically sacrifice quite a bit of eco to get near to nothing done.
Nice, you get the treasure.
Yeah,
And that's 100 food.
obviously,
That's
yeah,
huge.
that's quite a risky treasure to take. Not, I wouldn't recommend taking that kind of treasure, but yeah, I did. So yeah, I don't like going for the early 12 sepoy, and I
Okay.
also don't like going for the consulate rush, because I would say it's the same concept of you're sacrificing quite a lot of eco just to get nothing done.
Okay.
Consulate is very easy to spot, and from there on, Brit just has to adapt,
Okay.
and that's why I personally prefer going for the semi-FF style with very strong sepoys, very strong Gurkhas, and some Mahout, some urumi if needed, siege elephants versus the falconets. I think that's the best way to play this matchup.
Okay. Um, does it? We'll skip forward a bit. One quick thing about herdables that I wanted to know. I don't know if you know the numbers. I should look up the numbers and I'll post them in the video afterwards. But do you know how many herdables you have to get on a map to equal a trade post? I feel like I should memorize that. But
Oh, I don't really know.
okay, but in general, obviously, as everyone will know, but just to highlight, herdables gather XP for India, so as long as you get enough, they equal to some parts of a trade post. So
Yeah,
that's nice. I think it's 5 XP per second because I see the +5, and you
no,
can
but
yeah,
but it doesn't show every second.
yeah,
Like
that's true. So
not
it's
not
like
even not even a TP is 5 per second.
no,
Like
no, that would be
so
too much, but it's
yeah.
probably 5 over some period of time, maybe a minute,
I,
maybe 30 seconds.
yeah, for over some period of time. The thing is, um, what did I want to say? No, yeah, I forgot.
Is there
But
any benefit to like building a sacred field really early or sending the herdables card or are those just later?
I remember there being some math in the ESOC community at some
Hmm.
point, and I'm quite certain that they figured out it's essentially never as good an investment as a trading post, even with I believe it was 10 llamas.
Oh wow.
The
Okay.
but the thing is, like if you for example play on a no TP map, there is
Mhm.
no TPs, so there is also no comparable like investment in that specific situation. So uh,
Okay.
just because it's not as good as a TP doesn't mean it's not good at all, if you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
No, no, I agree. That makes sense. So you're doing a great
Oh,
job here. You built the Agra and base. By 420 Brit ages up, you're probably gonna hit age up by 5 minutes.
yeah,
Tell me a little bit more about the game now.
yeah. So something that we might have missed is
Yeah.
I'm already like directly after placing the Agra and aging up, I put all my vills except for two onto wood
Okay.
and a few on coin, so that I can gather the civil servants upgrade immediately.
Okay.
And after that, I get the food upgrade, the tier one coin upgrade. And from then on, I basically just gather so that I can get a nice batch of sepoy when I'm up.
Okay, that makes sense.
And
Civil
also,
servants is the 50-50-50. So you collect enough coin to get 50 coin. That makes sense.
yeah, exactly. And also, of course, not to forget a house so that I can actually train stuff when I'm up.
Yeah. So you march forward with your 2 age up sepoys, and you're just gonna try to eliminate that explorer. I don't know if you've seen that barracks by this time.
Yeah, I'm scouting like with
Yeah.
my two explorers. I'm also scouting his shore right now, I believe.
Yeah, you
And
saw the schooners in his deck. That makes sense.
yeah, and with my sepoys, I'm also just I went a bit like onto the map to see if there's
What's going on?
something. Yeah,
All right, so he's approaching with his musks. Yeah, so he is 5. That's not that bad. and you have an Agra in base, and you have 7 sepoys. So yeah, you're gonna be totally fine, or 6. So you
Yeah.
missed one or you lost one, but yeah, that's pretty solid normal gameplay so far. So if I skip forward a little bit, also he mixed in some Hus, okay, and he made some Gurkha. At this,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
sorry.
a lot of skipping.
Oh, sorry,
Uh,
sorry. Let me go back. Let me go back.
yeah, like look at the shipments. We're already very far.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
yeah, it's
Tell
because
me a little bit about this build order then. Yeah, let me go back.
yeah. The thing is, this is a whole series, like the whole video. So you're
Oh, skipping a little is skipping a lot. Fair enough.
yeah, exactly. So after my first batch of sepoy, I usually try to get the second tier food upgrade,
Okay.
and um, sometimes I'll just stop at that. Like if I think I'll get away with it, I'll research second tier coin and imperial bureaucracy. But
Okay.
sometimes I'll also just stay with the food upgrade. It
Okay.
depends how much pressure I anticipate and how fast I want to go to third.
Okay. Okay.
And I just train a few more units if I think necessary. But you always have to keep in mind, you also have the double Minutemen from your town center. You have TC Fire, you have Agra 4, and potential Autocons Minutemen. So there's quite good defensive
Yeah.
potential
You're showing
with
that right here actually, because he's pushing in with a considerable number of sepoys or muskets, and he mixed in some Hus, and you're able to push him back.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, exactly. Also, just with the rage advantage of the Gurkha, I'm
yeah.
just always going to be in a good position.
And as they highlight, you only lost 1 Vill, he lost 2 Musks. Um,
Yeah,
this is aggressive British style play. So Snow, it didn't send Virginia Company. He isn't going crazy boom. He's actually trying to pressure you.
yeah. What's also interesting is this tower placement, which Kaiser the
Yeah.
caster has shown a few times at the start.
No,
And
he did
here,
place it all the way out by the water here. So I guess he was
yeah,
trying to control. He has schooners in deck, so I guess he's trying to go water later. But
yeah, he wants to just hold himself the option. And when he scouted that I'm not going Agra 4, I suppose he knew there wasn't going to be pressure. So I suppose it's a good choice.
okay,
So a bit about the build. I
yeah.
go distributivism and then first H2 card foreign logging.
Mm-hmm.
After that, like
300
you
export, yeah.
300 export exactly. And a small tip: I always try to stack the 200 wood exactly when I'm going to ship 300 export, because if you place the consulate with 2 villagers, like if you build it with 2 villagers
Okay.
and send the shipment, they're going to be finished at around the same time.
Oh, okay.
So once 300 export is in, it also reduces the ally cost. So
Yeah,
you can
225.
immediately, yeah, exactly. You can immediately ally cheaply with, in this case, we want Ottoman consulate.
Okay.
Um, and
To get
Ottoman
the 4
consulate,
Vills, yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's just very good with this kind of style because, you get the 4 villagers. And in case your opponent is aggressive, you also have the Minutemen. So it's very nice.
That's good. So one quick thing I want to highlight for everyone watching. Distributivism, I think a 1.25 wood per second trickle, and foreign logging's a 2.35, and then 300 export gives you 4 Vills. So with all three, you're getting, these are all essentially Vill shipments back to back. And 2 of these
Yeah.
unrateable, what's that word? Like they can't
Yeah,
bottom those villagers in your TC, right? You're always going to
exactly.
gather wood. So it's a very strong eco start. But because you start with Agra, you get 2 sepoys, you build 5, and you prioritize building 5, you kind of have both. You kind of have eco and military.
Yeah. And also like 300 export, like you can turn it into a bill shipment but the good thing about it is like it can be anything. Like if you need the hussar because your opponent is attacking with a lot of longbowmen or whatever, like you have that option.
Yeah.
You have the minutemen. Like it's just very versatile.
No, I definitely like that about this build. Okay, so everything you're saying, I really like. I like the setup. Do you want me to just keep playing? Is there a certain part?
Yeah, no, you can play. I think there's probably going to be a fight right now,
Okay.
judging by his posturing around my base.
Yeah, and he's mixed in a lot of Huss, and I noticed you didn't go Zambarak. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, because again, like Brits is a civ that struggles versus sepoys, so
Hmm.
I'm also going to rely on sepoy as my main anti-cav.
Okay.
Like I'm not going to mix any Zams versus Brits, but because he is a very like Snow, if you know him, he's a like player that likes to raid a lot. I'm going to be dropping a few walls here and there. I think yes, starting right now,
Oh, and
just
you
so
just threw down an age up. Wow. Okay.
yeah, exactly. Like that's built. Like you go foreign logging, 300 export, 600 coin, and with the 600 coin you age.
What impresses me is you're being pressured. You see a massive army. Your army, in comparison, is a bit small. But you know, I mean, like, because that's a lot of Hussar, that's a lot of Musk. But you're deciding to age. What are you looking for in H3 that you're not having in H2?
Well, that's just the overall plan to like as I said in the beginning, like get strong sepoys, get strong Gurkhas, have my Mahouts, my Urumis.
Uh,
I suppose in this situation I could play H2, adapting to what I see from my opponent,
mm-hmm,
and I would have a good shot at winning the game. But
mm-hmm.
I suppose this is a bit of the build order botting, just sticking to the build order that I feel comfortable with and
Yeah.
that I have, yeah, just good experience with.
So he's a little skeptical about pushing in, I notice. I guess he
Yeah,
just doesn't want to be trapped. And you built your base in a way where he will be trapped. So,
exactly. So he's coming in. I have, again, very good defensive options. I don't have option to call Minutemen because I already sent the Ottoman Hussars. I
yeah,
have,
I saw that.
but I do still have very good like units to defend here.
I'm waiting for the
And
urumi pop.
I don't actually know if there's going to be one, but
But it's
anyways,
so
this
perfect, though. I do admire your base building here. It's like literally perfect for everything India does. The
yeah,
Vil, the Vil pushing, the Mahout pop, all the sepoys and Gurkhas. The Hussar could never hit a single skirm.
yeah,
Really
like
well
that's the
played.
thing. You see, I didn't have like a big mass, but just because I'm India, I can afford to not have the biggest mass. With defensive Agra 4 and all of that, I can defend an H2 timing like that and be fine. I suppose he's stacking a lot of resources, so his timing push could be stronger, but I still think it would be very hard to actually win the game that way.
Yeah, just to highlight your losses, you lost 11 sepoy, 3 Vils, 1 Mahout, and 3 Huss. The 3
Yeah,
Huss were, Consulate Huss. The Mahout was free. 2 of those sepoys are free, so you lost 9 sepoy. Um, he, in comparison, has lost 15 muskets, 10 longbows, and 13 hussar.
yeah.
So, an
Although
insane
it's
trade.
I don't really like saying those things are free, like the three
True, true.
hussars and the Mahout. But still, like even if you compare those numbers, it's a good trade for me.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the important thing is I'm H3 now, and like even H3 India versus H3 Brits is not like it's. I would say it's good for India. So
Yeah.
I'm
Um,
just
yeah.
yeah, I'm just in a very good position now, and I'm just going to get veterancy upgrades, get my Mansapta units, and Brit Consulate. that's one thing I wanted to mention with
Yeah.
this build of foreign logging, 300 export, 600 coin. By the time you click up, or like maybe 40 seconds after that, you're going to have enough export to send to get the hussars.
Okay.
So like you should basically every game get the early villagers if you can, and then the hussars shortly before you age.
Okay.
And then after you get the hussars, you de-ally, or you cancel the ally, and then you ally with Brits.
Okay. I noticed in this build order you didn't make space for a trade post. Is that something you could have done, or is that just the situation? Like you wanted to pump out tons of troops, you wanted to get the market ups, you wanted to throw down the consulate. It just wasn't a priority. Or was that an oversight? I guess that's what I'm asking.
I would say it's more of a safe play,
Okay.
because like the thing with TP is it's nice to boost up your build. You're going to be able to ship everything a bit faster,
Mhm.
and therefore also age faster.
Mhm.
The problem is you're not going to be able to train units because you don't like you won't have enough resources for that. So
True,
you're
true.
just it's a bit less safe of a play. So I like trading units, and also like you get the XP from training. So it also like you're not going to be super slow this way.
Oh, and your main game plan wasn't to FF. This is a strong semi-FF. So you don't really need the shipments, the XP. Okay, okay, I like it. I like it. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean it's a eco semi FF. Like
Yeah.
it's about getting my trickles, my 4 villagers, and just not dying in H2,
Mhm.
and then getting to H3 with a good eco, and yeah, just finishing the game there.
Okay, I really like that. Thank you. All right, so let's keep playing. Sorry, I keep pausing it. I guess I just want to highlight some of these things because they will push past it. Um,
Yeah, something that's also going to be important now. Also, your Steam rating. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm going to obviously need a Rex, something you should never forget as India, because your Agra cannot upgrade your units,
yeah.
which is a bit annoying.
I also noticed that you're really contained with this playstyle, but India doesn't require like three
A
or
lot of
four
map
herds.
control. Yeah,
Yeah,
which is why I personally think like you don't really need to go forward Agra, because I think this play works fine, and on EP maps anyways you have enough resources to get the
yeah,
position you need.
that makes
Uh,
sense.
Wait, is somebody calling you on
Yeah,
Discord?
yeah, I stopped that. Sorry about that.
Ah, okay. Yeah,
Yeah. Did you hear that as well?
yeah,
Oh,
was very
okay.
loud.
Okay, sorry about that. Um,
uh,
repeat
yeah,
what you just said. I just don't want to miss it for the audio.
what was I saying?
Oh, you're just saying EP maps have lots of hunts, and agraing in base still gives you like the 2 to 4 herds and 2 mines. You have
Yeah,
enough to get up to 3 to semi FF to build a bunch of troops, and
exactly.
now
Like
is when you're kind of pushing out. You're pushing out
exactly.
for that
Like
third mine,
espe-
that fourth hunt.
especially on this map, like you can see on the mini map, I'm like building this circle around me,
Yeah.
and within that area, there's so many hunts that I'm still in control of that you can't raid that easily. So like I'm not really out of resources. Like it's still going to take quite a while.
So I think snow has gotten on water a little bit, if I'm not mistaken. I can't really tell unless he moves
It
there.
looks like a dock, but
Yeah.
it could be. I think he's not adding a dock yet. Oh no, he does. If you look at all units,
Oh,
it
that's right.
shows there's
That's
a
right.
dock,
But he doesn't
but
have
there's no
boats
fishing
yet.
ships yet.
Okay, so he's about to
Yeah,
build them.
yeah. So he's also aged, as you can see now, and
Yeah.
I think I was about to ship the two. What are they called? The two. mahouts, but I canceled them. And when I saw him clicking up, I was like, okay, the only thing that is going to be scary now are his 2 falcons. So I'm going to send the 2 siege elephants and just have like a very,
Ah,
very
okay.
good combo against that.
So one thing I must ask, because everyone's mentioned it in the DE forums, they wanted the siege elephant buffed or given more range, because their biggest complaint was, how the heck do you kill 2 falcons when siege elephants have the
Yeah.
light cav tag, and they just get sniped out by longbows, skirms, musks,
Well,
anything.
I,
Do you think that
I
that's simply not true? Do you think
no,
maybe it's
I
micro?
at first I was about to agree with that, but when I
Yeah.
heard you were talking about falcons, that's simply not true because they do have more range than falcons.
Okay.
Like they have 2 more range, so with good control, you should be able to snipe them without them dying.
Okay.
But versus heavy cannons, they have the same range as heavy cannons, so that's very hard to kill
Oh,
them
so it's
efficiently.
not
Also,
really a culverin type unit then when you compare them to heavy cannons.
yeah,
Okay, that
like
makes sense.
here you
Yeah,
can see what
like
I'm doing. I'm running forward with my sepoy as a meat shield to prevent my siege elephants from dying. I shot 1 falconet. Now I'm
and
doing
now
it
you're about
again.
to eliminate the other. Okay.
Yeah, like
So
my
falcons
sepoy.
aren't a problem. Heavy cannons are then.
Yeah. Also, you need 3 shots, which is like yeah, you need 3 siege elephants just in order to kill the heavy cannons in 1 volley, and they're more expensive than Colves, so it's not really a good counter to heavy cannons.
That's fair. That's fair.
Also, they're not good versus frigates.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
Well, they kill frigates without upgrades, but if you get all the upgrades, then it's also kind of annoying to kill them.
So he kind of backed off that fight after his falcons got pretty easily eliminated. So now
Yeah,
you've just got a pretty strong infantry mass. I don't know the timeline of this game, but I imagine this is close to over. Are you worried about anything else? You've had a lot of good trades. You've gotten up you've gotten up and punished him.
yeah. No, I'm not very worried, just because like my units are so strong with British Consulate and the Manzaptar.
Oh, I want to
So
highlight this because this is a really well played part of the whole match. So you have 2 Mahouts, right? And one of the biggest
yeah,
problems and people say about Mahout is they just die. Like they're a lot of HP, but they can be easily sniped. So
yeah,
can you comment on your micro here? Because I thought it was really well done. So you see his setup. He doesn't have a lot of muskets, which I think is a problem. You run
yeah,
away the Mahouts as they're getting close, and you use that to kill off some Hussar. And yeah, sorry, I'll let you talk.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not really like I anyways have a very big mass advantage. So to be fair, micro doesn't really matter so much here, other
Okay.
than the attack move.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I basically what I'm just doing is I'm running them forward so as to bait his fire and then kill the Huss that are running toward my infantry mass.
Okay. Okay. Um, and then yeah, anything else left to kind of highlight about what's gonna happen next?
Yeah, no, not really. Like the I mean, he was already behind after the big push in my base when he was in
Yeah,
second age, and then him losing his Falcons like that was also very big. I'm not
yeah.
entirely sure why he pushed. I suppose he might have thought that I was trying to go H4, and yeah,
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. I don't know why he shipped 10 longbow here, honestly, but I don't know if he had any other options.
yeah. Well, he did get the upgrade from the native post, and
Oh, okay, I didn't
I
notice that.
think
Good
I
call.
don't know I don't know if it was 25 or 35% in this patch
Mm-hmm.
because it got nerfed at some point, and this was before it got nerfed. So they're probably better than muskets without any upgrades, even versus my sepoys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just it's over at this point.
He only got to 6 boats.
Yeah,
So,
that's
and he couldn't
that's
even
also a
ship
thing.
schooners. Because so late in the game, why would you ship schooners?
That's also a thing. He invested in a lot of different stuff while he was aging. He
Yeah.
got the native TP with the tech, which combined I think is 900 resources,
Okay.
and he also made the dock and the few fishing boats, which didn't pay off yet. So that's a lot of investment, which while I was essentially only investing into army.
Yeah, that's fair. You were very kind of concentrated. You were just like, let me do this.
Yeah.
And you did it well. All right, so that kind of closes that out. This is a good time for if you want to just, talk anything general about India, give any tips to new players, um, just anything such as that.
Uh, I don't know. I
We definitely
suppose,
covered a lot, but if there's anything else
yeah.
you want to add in.
Well, I suppose if you're a beginner, um, it's best to play with the early 12 sepoy push because it's relatively easy to execute and it's likely that you're going to get a lot of damage done.
Hmm.
If you're in the like PR, if you're like captain or above, I would recommend you play with a semi FF and not the matchups where you're very defensive, but most other matchups you can play that way. And other than that, yeah, I don't know. Um,
Okay. One quick thing I wanted to ask. Why do people not send 700 wood early? I'm not saying no Indian players or people who play India send that early, but I see them go for foreign logging over 700 wood. Is there a strong reason to send this over this? I understand obviously that this is more long term and this is more immediate, but in which scenario would you send 700 wood as your second card?
versus Russia, like also versus Aztec, like just very defensive matchups.
Okay.
Like versus Russia, I would go defensive Agra for. I would also go markets, do the same, like tech civil servant, like tech all
Hmm.
three in H1 and or while
In
aging.
transition, yeah.
Exactly. I would send 700 wood first. Then I would go 300 export. Like the 700 wood I used to build a stable, a consulate, and other than other than that, just like extra houses.
Oh, okay, just to throw down all that infrastructure, because you need
Yeah,
the consulate ASAP against Russia, right? Just
exactly.
to get the
Like
Minutemen and to
yeah,
get any
Minutemen
house.
potential. Like if Russia is not super aggressive, of course I'm also going to go with 4 vills,
Yeah,
and I'm going to follow that up with 700 coin, because then I can like if I see okay Russia is not making any more units after their initial 5 Cossack 10 Strelid push, I think he's aging, then I just go H3 myself with 700 coin. If
okay.
I see he's pushing with a lot of units, I just mass with 700 coin.
Okay, no, that makes sense. All right, that kind of closes out all my questions. I think you've added in a lot. Thank you so much, Migo. We really appreciate it, and I'll let you know once the video is released. And we're basically going to concentrate on team play, excuse me, and water play with Tit for the second part.
Yeah,
But if you want to mention any tips or tricks for team or water, you can now. Otherwise, yeah, I'll definitely give you like a recording of this one before we put it on YouTube and such. But yeah.
no, I think just ask Tit about those things. I think he's definitely the more experienced player in those areas.
Yeah, and I did want to highlight for everyone, since the people who watch the video will um wonder. So you've been doing incredibly well at DE, man. I watch your stream. I'm a mod on your stream now. I really appreciate that. You're regularly been in the top. And then I think you've been in the top 30, 32 for a while. Um, what do you think about the current meta, I guess, with DE? Is this playing like certain civs? Is this playing certain matchups you're doing really well?
What do you mean?
Just like if you want to comment on your success, like you're doing really well in DE, definitely a very strong
Uh,
player.
I
You
think I
mentioned you
would.
started off getting to Colonel with India, but now you're branching out, playing a lot more. What's part of the secret sauce?
Well, if I really wanted to go elo, I think I would just spam Spain
Spain
because
is really good right now. Is your thoughts?
yeah, I mean, I don't really like. I think eventually I will play to get good rating.
Mm.
But right now, I suppose games are counting again, so it's sort of worth it. But
Yeah,
then
it's
when
been
I,
weird, man. It's been weird.
yeah,
The
but
multiple
now
changes.
when
Yeah,
I stream, I prefer playing random civs.
yeah.
So, but yeah, if I were to, like, if you want to get good rating, play Spain. Or I mean, for me personally, I would spam Spain because I feel very comfortable with them, and I think they're one of the top civs.
Okay.
Other than that, probably French, Germany, and Iroquois are very good options on the right now.
Okay. Okay. Good to know. Definitely like the buffs to India, so we'll definitely see once they start holding tournaments in DE. I think they've already started hosting some, but we'll see some more of that gameplay. But
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, that ends. All right. So hello everyone. This is GK Shaman. I'm here with Tit or Icon. He's
Hello.
very competitive Age of Empires 3 player. Reached high level of PR 40, plays India a bunch, has beaten some of the best in the game with India. So we're here to talk about team and water gameplay with India. So Icon, if you wish to say hi to the viewers, say any introduction for yourself.
Um, yeah, hello everyone. As you said, yeah, I'm just playing the game for many years, and yeah, I mainly play India, so I am here to discuss about the Civ.
Awesome. All right. We'll jump right into it. I actually have some great questions for you. And just so our viewers understand how fantastic you've been doing in DE, I'm just gonna share my screen. As you can see, we have the leaderboards for 1v1 and team, and Icon has reached 13, so he's in the top 20 easily. And with team gameplay, it very rotates a lot, but he's been pretty stable on the leaderboard for DE. He's definitely been on the leaderboard for RE. If you've heard of Tit, you've heard of his games against Miggo and many others, and we'll show off some of those today. You've heard about his gameplay. So let me jump into some of the questions I have for you, Icon. One of the biggest questions I got was consulate progression. What order of consulates should India do? Now, to clarify, obviously everyone loves to go Ottoman consulate first,
Yeah,
or the four vills, the extra Minutemen, Hussar if need be, because India doesn't
yeah.
have a Hussar or strong handcap type unit early. So, what's your advice on that? Do you ever stray away from the Ottoman consulate? What do you like to go for other strategies?
Um, most time of the games, I full consolidate Ottoman because the four vills, it's insane, and plus the Hus are veteran. When you take them, you have like veteran SI H2, so this is a really good unit. But you can sometimes take the British consulate if you wanted to, if you want to do like all in rush, like you mass sepoys and just send the 300 exports to make the 6 mocks and just a big push.
Okay, okay. So you
But yeah,
can
mainly the British and the Ottoman consulate.
okay. Talk to me about. I know it might sound silly. Any reason to do the Portugal consulate?
Um, There is only one reason to make the Portuguese consulate. It's when you play against a Chinese player or a Japanese player. And when you reach the third age, you have the petard. There is a take on the petard, like you have a free caravel with it's
Yeah.
3 petards. Yeah, just to snipe a wonder. But basically, you just take the British consulate to have 5 petards. So it just depends on the map.
True. Okay. And the other last question is, talk to me about the France consulate, because what I've heard about is the consulate rush with Grens, and I've heard about using French crates to go to H3 fast, or an FF with that. What do you think?
I think you can take the French consulate with the card in the H1. Let me check the name.
I think you're talking about good faith agreements, where it makes it cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, Maito played with it a bit when he plays India. Like
Okay.
it's a good build order when you just want to go full greedy and like a semi FF. It's a good strat. But
Okay.
I don't use the French consulate in 1v1. I just really use it in team because of the 5% bonus on the economy.
Okay.
But
it's not used in 1v1 as much, but definitely team.
It just depends on the player and the play style, I guess. But yeah, with the crates, you can do a really nice timing, and you can do pure FF or nice semi FF timing.
Okay.
But still, the sieve is still really slow, so it's a bit hard to play the French consulate.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this raises the big question: is there really a reason to FF as India? I mean, I understand in team gameplay there's like the FF into urumis, but they nerfed that a little with Team 4 urumi, and elephants are really expensive to get out,
that's
that
true.
fast. So what would you like? Do you see a reason to FF anymore in team, or?
Honestly, no, because it's too slow, and India is like the worst FF in the game. Like the units are good, but it's just bad. It's too slow, and you just can't keep up with like a Dutch FF or Japan FF or even Chinese. All FF just wrecked India, honestly.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that.
But the semi FF is way better actually, because you have economy behind, and you have like a nice timing around 10 minutes.
That's the biggest thing I've noticed. I love a semi-FF as India because I can send my, like I would say the mandatory cards would be distributivism, foreign logging. You can send that. You could send 300 export, and then you can send 700 gold, and that way you have like your 2 vill shipments or 3 vill shipments between these 3, and then you have your gold, and now you can just kind of have a strong eco. You have like 10, 20 sepoys. You can, not be caught with your pants down, so to speak. Then you can start rolling through all the shipments.
Yeah, exactly. That's why the semi-FF is way better, because you can have a decent army while you have a decent eco, and you can even push a bit out of your base before you launch the age up.
Okay, awesome.
But it's mainly about to have a decent eco with the timing of the age.
That makes sense. All right, let's go on to the next set. The next question. So Sowar or Zamb and Rajput. A lot of questions on those 3 units. Sowars, Zams, and Rajput. What's your thoughts on these 3 units? Let's start with the Sowar. Has it been changed in DE? Do you think, like, do you ever want to go Sowars, like, as in a team game?
You mean about starting making these units, or just mixing with like Gurkhas or sepoys?
Yeah, I guess, like, I mean, basically what I'm asking is, since the Sowar starts at 220 HP, I believe, when, like, like a counterpart Huss starts
Yeah.
at 320 HP. I mean, that's a
Oh
100 HP difference. When would you ever in a team game make Sowars? I guess. Yeah. Let's just answer when to make Sowars, would you say?
I don't think it's about the timing. I guess it's more about the sieve you are facing against. Like if you have a British that makes bowmen,
Mm-hmm.
it's just better to start Sowar pretty early in the game. Like I'd say around 7 minutes. Yeah, 7-8 minutes.
Okay. Maybe against, like, Inca then, with the jungle bowman they have.
Yeah,
Basically
but
against any ranged infantry based civ without a strong musketeer.
yeah, exactly. It's good against like British, Dutch, Russian. Yeah, basically every sieve that can make scams, you know.
Okay. No, I like that. That's a really good answer. Thank you. So Zambarak, when in the team game do you go Zambarak?
In team game, it depends on your teammates, but I'd say I really often start Zombrax to stop the reds and
Okay.
to protect like the schemes of your mates. But yeah, I like in team to start Zams, then add Gurkhas with the French Consulate. Like you have a
Oh,
strong eco and decent mines, and you can multitask a bit to take every red.
oh, you're talking about ad Gurkhas with the Consulate card in H3?
No, I'm just talking about mixing with a Rex. Just you
Okay.
start Zams and then later you add some Gurkhas.
Okay. Ad Gurkhas.
Like, yeah, it's more about if you are getting catch by like mosque or something like that, you can fight if you have Gurkhas. But if you don't have, you just back
Yeah,
and lose
because
a ton of units for nothing.
yeah, Zambaraks are also really weak, but thankfully
Yeah.
they're ranged attacks, so that's
Yeah.
different. And their damage output gets pretty strong. All right,
Yeah.
so Zam, Sowar, we covered all that. So the last unit, Rajputs. To show the viewers, let me share the relevant part. The thing that they changed about
Yeah,
India,
they buffed the attack with a card
yeah, with
by
the
15.
Dravidian martial arts. Where is it? Where's my home city?
Yeah, but actually the Rajput still really bad units because the price is really insane.
So normally this was a 15% to all. This is a 15% to all with 30% to Rajput.
Yeah.
If I read it correctly. So you still don't like Rajputs even with
No,
this?
the unit is really useless. Like it's 100 food, 20 wood, I guess.
Yeah, it's a
They,
weird distribution. More food than sepoy, and then
yeah,
wood.
they do descend when they units in melee when they
Mm-hmm.
can attack, but otherwise the unit aurora is really bad. Like it's only 5 speed. You can't even take a cav that raid you. No,
Yeah.
it's a really bad unit.
Okay. They look amazing though in DE, for what it's worth. Anyone
Yeah,
who's a fan.
they just look amazing, but they are not.
All right, so still Dravidian boosts it, but still not worth it. And then let's go on to the next set. So yeah, we already
And
talked about Team 4 urumi. Yeah,
by,
sorry.
by the way, the Dravidian martial arts, you actually send it only for Sowars, sepoys, and mahouts.
Makes sense, yeah.
Because you
Sowars.
don't really want to make any Rajput, so yeah. The buff is still useless, because it really doesn't matter.
Makes sense. Strategy. Okay. What's our strategy versus Inca
Oof.
with DE?
Lose.
Why do you say that?
I just because I don't really play actually. I mean, at the moment the game. The few times I play as India against an Inca, I just lose. Like,
I guess I should clarify. They nerfed Inca a lot, so they used to
I know,
be
but
really strong.
the fact that sepoys have 180 HP, you just can't fight the Incas units. Like, you get hit and run by the units.
Speed is the problem. Okay.
Yeah, speed, and Inca has the same or a better economy. Like, you just get outmass. I think the only way you can still win as India against Inca is to age up with urumis, mahouts, and sepoys.
Okay. Okay. So essentially a semi-FF, just last in base
exactly.
Agra. Okay.
To me, you just can't win in H2.
Tough matchup in H2. I agree with that. And the Chimus definitely do a lot of work.
Chimus.
To catch them is really hard with sepoy.
Yeah, this shit is OP. Yeah, the speed of the Incas units is a really big problem. And by the way, the Sowars are kind of bad against the pikes. And it's easy to mass pikes, so you can't really make cav. You can't really make zombies, so you just can stick to sepoys Gurkha, but it's not enough. Like, you just get outmassed and lose every fight.
Yeah, it's tough for sure because I think India had the same problem with Aztec, right? Because Aztecs in H2 would just mass coyote runners and mace, and that would be really tough.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to face an Aztec rush.
Yeah. The best, what I was told was, get the Consulate, get the Auto Minutemen, get the Agra in base, get the Minutemen from the TC,
Yeah, it's important to have the CM card against India.
Yeah,
against Aztec.
Inca and Aztec. No, you're right. And then just the idea is just to survive and make it to H3 with a decent enough eco.
Yeah.
Like 20 vills, whatever,
works. But the problem is that you can't really use this card against the Incas because he stays at home with the houses. Like, he just boom and you can't really rush him. You can't really out echo.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's a tough matchup for sure.
No, to me, the only way you can win is just to get to the third age.
Okay. And so let me just amend this Aztec as well. All right. So the next part. Okay. So the lack of good hand cav. Is that a huge issue for India? What's your thoughts?
Until you reach the third age with the mahouts. Okay. But mahouts are decent when you get like 5-6 mahouts. I'd say around 5 mahouts is good because you have enough to tank, to snare, and you just need to follow with the sepoys to catch the opponent's army with the urumis if you have urumis. Yeah, I mean, you can still fight with 1, 2, 3, or 4 Mahouts, but it's better to have a little mass.
Yeah, no, I
Try to
agree with the
engage.
3 to 5 comment. Because even just one Mahout gets catted out by like, 30 musks.
Yeah, by the way, I just right now saw that they buffed the Agra 3 card elephants
Yeah,
by
no,
by 5%.
that is huge. I don't know if I was
Yeah.
sharing the right thing, but that is
Yeah, before it was 15%. Now it's 20.
it's really important. Let me take this out
Yeah.
and let me put it in just so viewers can see. The this is 20%. The other thing to note is inside the monastery. I don't know if I can see a tech tree of India in the screen.
Yeah, there is a thing to reduce the train time of
Yeah,
the elephants by 50%, I guess, 50 or 40.
20%, I think.
Oh, it's 20, 20. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many it reduces.
I'm just looking through to see.
Yeah,
So that
I guess you're right. It's 20.
yeah, monastery. Terror charge does something. Oh, you have to click on the gear. Ah, I thought they would at least tell you what the tech does. They just
Yeah, I
okay.
guess it's 20.
Yeah, it's 20% for anyone wondering. But still bothers me that I can't see like the actual tech. But no, so definitely cavalry, especially Mahout, are a lot more usable. And I'm
Yeah.
told, but I can't confirm, I don't know if you can, that the drag box / the handling pathing of Mahout is a little bit better. I have
Better
seen
than
it.
you mean better than before?
Yeah, better than before. Because it used to be the
Um,
Mahouts don't even connect, and they just kind of.
Personally, I never had this problem.
Oh, okay. So that's
So
just
to me,
micro.
it's just
Okay.
the same.
Okay.
I know some players tell me that, but no, I can't say that because I don't have the problem. Like, yes, sometimes they walk like around the unit without attacking, but it's rare. I
Okay.
would say it's rare.
The other question that comes up a lot is Gurkha Consulate card.
Yeah.
When to add it? I know it was bugged for a bit, but they fixed that. Royal Green Jackets. When do you like this
Jackets.
card? When do you send it?
It only depends of the matchup, like on the matchup and on the players. Like if you play against a Japanese player that only makes ashes, you need this card.
Okay.
Like especially, yeah, I'd say against Brits, against Japs,
It
even
doesn't
against
boost action
Chinese.
damage, right? It just boosts. It just gives that qualifier. Okay. And it's only against heavy infantry. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So it's not like a 10% more damage attack. No, nothing.
yeah,
Like
no,
that.
it's not like the Chinese one. The Chinese one is really OP because it boosts your attack and it's make it 3 times against light cavalry.
Yeah.
Also,
So goons and
yeah,
heavy
like
infantry.
bow rider, all this stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. So against Brits, Japs, would you even say Swedes for the Karelians?
Yeah, Sweden. Also, yeah, right now
And the
Sweden.
autos as well. Let's say. But yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So against
Ottomans. Yeah,
Musk
there
Heavy
is also
Civ,
Ottomans.
definitely go Consulate Royal Green Jackets. But against the Civ like Germany or Dutch, it's not as necessary.
Yeah, no, that's a bit useless. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And other than that, let's see. I think we only have one or two more left. It's a short amount of questions for India team gameplay, but I definitely will add on some in a bit. Let's see. Okay. Oh, okay. We're gonna move on to water soon, but before we end off any of the biggest questions, what do you think of just India overall with the patch, like with DE and with taking into the changes of EP? What exactly is like nerfed / buffed about India? Like, do you consider it buffed or nerfed? Is I guess what I'm asking.
I don't know, it's a hard question because you need to compare the sieve to the other sieves. They buffed the crates for sure. They buffed the Agra when you take it for the third age, but you never take it for the third age, so it's useless.
Yeah.
I like the change elephant combat H3 cards. That's a nice buff. I like it. But overall, I don't know. I still think they try to make India a boom save like they shouldn't, because you can't really rush with the low HP sepoys. So you just only can make timing and semi FF right now. Like you can do like before to make a huge push to try to find vills, and you can boom after. Now you just simply can boom and make a timing. I don't know, I'd say the sieve is not really strong. Yeah, to me India is like a normal sieve. Not bad, but not strong, like
Okay,
in the
that makes
middle.
sense. I'd agree with everything you just said. Like they did buff a bunch of parts of India, but
Yeah.
overall, I would say, I mean, I just to give you perspective, I've played India since I started the game. Um, I'm very proud in the sense of I actually come from India, so I'm definitely very. That's what drew me to this game. But I would say overall, from all the iterations of it, it's definitely
Yeah.
stronger overall, but it definitely feels weaker.
Like the buff they made, it's good for the late game. Like it's a late game buff. Like it's not like they revert the 5 sepoys to 6 sepoys.
Yeah.
This is not something you use early in the game to make you have a huge advantage.
Yeah.
Like it's just 100 wood more, and that's all.
The other thing to mention here is they did make India into 70 wood houses.
Yeah, it's 70. Yeah,
It's a little bit better. I mean, it's not
yeah, it's a bit
huge,
better.
but it's nice. Okay, let's go on to water gameplay now. So,
Okay.
what does a typical like build order with water look like?
It's it depends if you want to go heavy water or just semi water boom, like 1, 2 docks or 3 or 4. Personally, I always make 1 or 2 docks max. So I'd say it's distributivism, of course, the first card.
Yeah.
Then you ship the East Indiaman, the card that gives you dock and reduce the fishing boat cost to 50 wood.
Okay.
And of course, you need to put in your deck advanced dock and fish market.
If I were to make the simplest deck, like the simplest land deck with some water, what are my must-have water cards? You would say.
East Indiaman, 2 carvers, 1 frigate, and improved warships. You need only 4 water cards to make the simplest water deck.
Okay, good to know. Thank you. That was actually really helpful. And then obviously to boom, you want to have fish market, and I forget what the second H2 card is.
Yeah, basically you want to have every good water card deck in your deck.
Yeah.
If you want to boom properly.
I have a friend that plays India Water a lot, and he mentioned how essentially because of the meta changes, India Water's been buffed. because he was talking about how if I have 70 wood boats now and I have 70 wood houses and I'm
Oh, yeah.
India, it's like really easy to
Mhm.
throw down a dock, to make vills, to make boats, to make houses, and it's just the macro of it all. Collect
Yeah,
tons of
exactly.
wood is easier. Would you agree? What do you
Yeah,
think?
it's easier, but it's still hard to play a game, water game at high level.
At the high rank, yeah, because they'll always kind of check it and they'll
Yeah,
push you and all that.
yeah, but overall it's easier with the cheaper houses.
Okay.
And with the 70 wood fishing boats, you can right now water boom without the East Indian main card. It's just
Yes,
like a bonus to make it faster.
I'd agree. I
But
think
yeah,
one of the
you can easily water boom without the the dock card.
I think what I've noticed is if I semi FF in a mostly land based game, after
Yeah.
sending the 2 trickles and after the
Yeah.
4 vills, I noticed that I just have a buildup of wood. Because I'm not making Rajputs or Mahouts in H2. So you can almost kind of like, throw a dock on randomly
Yeah.
and just make like 10 boats pretty quickly.
Yeah, you
2
can also
docks.
make a TP.
Yeah. And just, rush out some canoes or rush out some boats to boom a little bit more. So I
Yeah.
definitely like that now about India. You just really need only after those 2 trickles, you really need yeah, that's a great question. To keep up house and vill production, how many vills do you usually put on wood before and after trickles?
When you do a water game,
I guess a normal land game and a water game.
normal lane game, in a lane game, I'd say I normally put 6 vil with distributives when I get what's the name? The foreign login.
Foreign logging, yeah.
Um, I think I put only 2 vils on the wood. And if you see that you fight and you lose pop and you don't need to make a house, just remove the 2 remaining vils and you put them on the coin or on the food.
Okay.
And on the water, I guess you need the max wood. So you just put like, I'd say 80% of your vils on the wood to make houses, market upgrades, consulates, fishing boats.
Yeah, I would agree with
And
that.
you need 15 between 15 and 20 vils, maybe 25. Because
Now,
you
yeah,
make units, but you have your fishing boat, so
yeah. Now
it's
let me
enough.
ask you a bigger question, and I'll show the screen here. So when I'm making this is their basic deck, so I'll just delete it. If I were to make this is a full boom, and let me call it that actually. So we'll call this full water boom. If I were to make a full water boom deck, how would you make it? Like obviously East India men you already mentioned, which is somewhere.
Yeah, let me just check my decks.
Or yeah, if you want to share your screen, we can.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find my deck because I do have like 30 decks. You need a heavy water deck.
Yeah, if you want to, you can click share screen in the Zoom, and I should be able to see.
Yeah, like that. Tell me if you see my screen.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so if you want to play heavy water, where is it? No. You have this one to play heavy
Water
water.
fight. Okay. Talk me through it a little bit, or if you want, I can just ask you the relevant questions.
You can ask me question or yeah, as you
Okay.
want.
In water games, I noticed that they go for a long time. So my biggest question is why do you have the 2 camel cards? Because if you're going late game, do you still keep making camels or just mainly Zambaraks?
It's a 1v1 deck, so Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you need this card because if you water boom, I personally stay H2 a lot before going to H3. So
Okay.
that's why I put the both
Okay.
camel upgrades because I make every type of units.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I agree with you on that then. And can you show me a team water deck by any chance if you have that?
I don't know if I have a team water deck. No, I only have. But I can make one quickly if you want.
Yeah, that would be great actually.
Right. So I want to put distributivism, of course, Bombay, Marine, fish markets. What's the name? Fort Silos.
Fleet sailors, yeah. East Indiaman.
7, of course. This one, this one, this one.
Just curious, why no Admiralty? It's an
This
H2.
one?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to put this card. It's a good card if you reach the Imperial Age.
Oh.
It reduces this by 60%, so it makes
Wait, Admiralty
really
is different now. It makes the
it's different.
improvements in research time.
Yeah.
Oh, it's no longer you can make more boats. Okay.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay, thank you. That's a really good clarification.
H3, I put 2 elephants, like that. Okay, industrial age. This one, this one, this one, this one. Yeah, I guess like that.
That's how
Oh
you
no,
build it.
I forgot advanced duck. Yeah, but they nerfed Bombay Marine, so I guess I just remove it.
Bombay Marine, what did it used to be and now what is it?
Before it was 40%, now it's only 30. It's still a good card, but it just depends if you know if your opponent's going to contest you on the water.
Okay.
Basically, if you have advanced dock, it's enough.
Okay.
But you can use it, you can remove, for example,
maybe cheaper elephants or diplomatic intrigue, yeah. No, not that one. The cheaper
this one.
elephants, yeah.
Yeah, you
but
can
then that
remove
makes
this.
the build time only 10%.
Actually, I forgot to make. I guess I remove this one to move this one because you need to upgrade your food on the mills with the 2 cards because you put all your gold on the fishing boats.
Oh, I see.
With the 2 cards.
Because the fish will run out.
Yeah.
And then boom. Tell me why. So okay, if you can go to H1 exploration.
Yeah.
The biggest debate, argument, discussion I've had is instead of sending trickles, the distributors and foreign logging, why not send sawmills and exotic hardwoods? Because in a water game, you're always on wood. Wouldn't it be better to have 20% faster wood versus 1 invisible or 2 invisible vills on wood?
I don't like this card because it's good early, but in late game you don't want to have any vills on the wood because in late game you have basically full water. You have late game is around 25-30 minutes, so you basically h4, h5. So if you don't say it, you lose I don't know, tons of food. Like
No,
this
you're
card,
right. Okay.
you need to see this card like a bonus extra vill. Like you have a little factory with the two
Yeah.
shipments, and plus on certain maps like Manchuria,
The
if you go
wood
to late
runs
game,
out.
you don't have really much wood on the
Yeah.
middle map, so you don't really gather the wood.
Okay, fair enough. Why no, like in water or not water, would you ever use advanced wonders?
Um, because first you don't have spots
Yeah.
to put it on the deck.
I guess
Um,
not even with water. Just in general, the questions I always get is when do you use advanced wonders / do you? And if you ever use the team sumptuary laws card. But
no, actually, I never use this card.
okay.
Like never.
I agree with you. I don't either. I just I'm asking for the viewers if anyone wanted to know.
Like
I
if you send it instead of distributivism, you actually have no echo behind it.
Yeah,
Like
distributivism
you,
is just too good
yeah.
as an early card. And then fur trade. Do you ever see a use for fur trade in water games?
No, never. Never,
Never.
because this card exchange your food to coin. The opposite will be cool, but if you
Really?
play water game,
Okay.
yeah, because you have like 20 fishing boats on the food, on the wells, sorry, with the two ups
Yeah.
and the two ups from the dock. So you gather like 1.30 coin, I guess, with the four ups.
Mm. Okay.
So basically, you have enough coin gathering, but no, it's not a good card for India.
Okay. Fair enough. And this deck takes into the assumption that you'll keep water, right? So obviously you would resign if you lose water, because I noticed there's no royal mint or plantation upgrades or anything. But the assumption there is you're going to be losing water, or like if you lose water, you lose the game, based on this deck, right?
Yeah, but you need to remember it's a team game.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can have like a 10 or 5% economy upgrade from your teammates, so you can still be in the game. And actually, with India, you only have 4, 1, 2. The third one is here, and the last one is here.
True.
So
You only have
it's
4 mil upgrades total.
yeah, it's 45% on the coin. And like if you play team games, you play with the Kalimata and the French Consulate, so you have 15% around the wonder
Yeah.
of the bonus, and you have the 50% with the markets. Like there is no, it's I can't remember if it's 15 or 20. No, I guess it's 15.
From the mill upgrades itself.
Yeah, and yeah, from the mills, and yeah, you
Okay.
can still survive if you lose the water with this kind of deck.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Let's talk about one of the other build orders that and I'll share my screen now if that's good
Okay.
with you. Let me find. Dun, dun, dun. One of the last build orders that I'm personally curious about too, and I was asked. So, what do you think of the build order where you do distributivism, then you do good faith? You're then going to send 700 gold, and then 300 export. The idea behind this is to age up to 3, and then you can send royal green jackets to basically to take advantage of the cheaper crates from France
Yeah.
and get like 9 Gurkhas for free, essentially.
This is a 1v1 build order, right?
Either, I guess, but mostly 1v1. You would go Agra, then into Carney. Or whatever.
It's better to send the exports before the gold.
Why do you say that?
Because if you send good face, it's because you want to go French consulate. So you need to put, like that. You need to send the 300 exports before the 700 gold because you.
Oh, so at least you can ally and get the buff.
Yeah,
the
you
5%.
make the ally cheaper.
Yeah. And then with
if-
700 gold, you age up, and then you can just click the 3 crates. once
Yeah,
you
and I
send the
guess
card.
you can don't send the 700 gold because you send like 500 gold, 500 food, and you just gather with the vills. But if you do this
Oh, not
build order,
foreign logging. Yeah.
you need to take a TP if you do it this build order.
Okay.
Or
Definitely.
or if you can't take a TP, you can skip distributivism and send foreign logging in the third shipment.
Do you ever find that skipping distributivism is a good idea? I have seen players do it. I always get so nervous.
Personally, you can skip distributivism in 1v1 on the land map for one reason. It's because you want to all in, like you want to send the 300 export 5 sepoys for Sowars, and you just push instant.
Oh, so that's
like
a bit more of an
full hard
all-in.
rush.
Yeah.
But it's pretty bad because of the low HP sepoys at the moment. It's like you win or you lose.
Yeah,
you have
for more
no eco
all-in
behind
strategies. Yeah.
You can even add the 10 tiger claws.
So that's like a very all-in rush. There's no eco shipments there. What are you allying for the 300 export?
The British for the HP, the units.
Okay. Okay, I see that as a very dramatic but very possible strategy. Okay. No, I like that. I guess I should share my screen. So can you see this, by the way?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love 10 tiger claws just because India's lack of good cav.
Yeah.
So early H2, that is. So you can just take these guys and take out longbows. If you were to make a basic land team deck for me, do you agree with this deck? Is there anything you would change? This is my usual standard, but I'm curious what you think.
I can't see your deck. Oh, you need. You mean I make a deck for you?
No. You're right. I'm sharing the wrong thing. Sorry. There we go.
Okay, let me see. This is. Yeah, to me it's more a basic 1v1 deck because you don't have any eco cards. You have too many units, military achievement cards.
I guess I like to be aggressive, but what do you recommend I take out? Like maybe the 3 mahouts for Royal Mint?
You take out the 3 mahouts, the 2 mahouts, the 9 sepoys, and the tiger claws. So you don't need tiger claws in team. And you put the 4 eco cards.
Oh, I see your point.
Oh yeah, and by the way, in my team deck, before I forgot to make the Shivaji Tactics H4. Yeah, I forgot to make this card in my water team game.
Oh yeah. That makes sense. That's a solid card. But otherwise, this you would say is solid. Like you like this.
This deck is better. And you can remove also the good faith. You don't really need it. Also the 700 coin.
Oh, you don't like 700 coin?
No, because in team you have time to age up, and you have the French consulates, so you can send the coin in the last ship, and you age with this.
And even if you send that to make troops, the idea is you still have so much going on. Like you have so much resources and eco that you should just be able to gather and age up. Okay.
Yeah, and you can add what can you add? You can add the elephant shipper, because it's a good unit in team, the elephants.
Yeah.
In age 2, you can, what's the name? The 50% melee attack.
Oh wow, I'm surprised I didn't have this card in.
Yeah, because of the urumis, sepoys, and Howdah. And Tiger Claws age 4, if you send it before.
Okay.
Because so you have the 9 infinite urumi, so it's better to have this card.
That makes sense to coordinate that with this. So you like this for team. This would be your standard team land game deck.
Yeah, but in team I mainly play elephants and Gurkhas, so I'd remove the 30% on the camel H2. And maybe the elephant training card H2.
H2?
Yeah.
Oh, just the cab riding school.
Yeah.
So you like to either go mass sepoy or mass cav.
Yeah. I like in late game like Howdah and Gurkhas.
Okay, Mahak Gurkha is your typical. Okay, that makes sense. All right, this is really good. So just so everyone knows, this is a sample team, and then he also made a sample all-in water. If I were to put in water into this deck, like this is supposed to be a deck where, let's say, my teammates, Japan or Brits, and they're like, I'll go water. But it's a very close game. Like the opponent is Portugal on water or Aztec on water. What cards can I take out to support my teammate on water? And by that I assume mostly military. So for Sowar.
For Sowar, the training cav combat, and the 10 urumis.
Why do you take this out? Because this enables the Mansubdar Urumi and Charminar Gate. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I know, but if it goes late game, like if you take the water, like 99% of the game you win, so you don't really need the Mansubdar.
Okay, fair enough. I like that.
Like
so what would you? Yeah.
The goal is just to win the water.
Okay. So the reason you're adapting this deck is hold on. So I should I'm silly. Let me add those cards back in, save it, and then make a separate one so people don't get confused. So 4 Sowars and the cap training. Okay. So this was what you would call a good team standard water, and then this would be team water support. So this is when I'm helping someone on water. So your idea is to take out 4 Sowars, cap training, and Mansubdar. What would you put in?
The 2 carvers H2, improving, the improved warships, and advanced dock in H1.
Advanced dock is better than Bombay Marina?
Yeah.
Because it helps. It helps warships and normal ships, or just warships.
This is the best card you can have in your water deck.
Because it makes the docks attack better. Okay.
Yeah. You can also remove the 16 type claws and put the frigates in H3. Yeah,
okay. This is your water support. Okay, I really like this deck. Thank you. This is solid. It still has everything that one would need.
Yeah, you can help on the water, you can have decent echo with all upgrades, and you can fight easily on the land.
Okay, so you can have a standard land deck, you can have a standard full water boom deck, which you made earlier, and then you can have a team water support. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. Oh, messed something up. Deleted a card, but I'll figure it out. But okay, so that helps us a lot, and I don't think so. That's it in terms of deck building. Let's go into going over gameplay. So, give me one. All right, so Aiken, you will be showing us your game versus Maito and yourself. Do you want to actually share the video, or do you want me to share and play and you talk? It's up to you.
It's better if you share it.
Okay, I'll share it. And boom. All right, so you should be able to see this. And I have everything on the highest settings.
Are you recording at the moment?
Yes, I can stop.
Yeah, can you stop?
All right, 1 second. I mean,
Sorry.
no, that's fine. All right, so now we'll be looking at some gameplay from your Twitch channel. This is a water game with India, and you're facing. What was the civ of your opponent?
It was German.
German. Okay, so India versus Germany on a water
And
map.
Florida. Yeah.
And Florida. And tell me what your goal was, like with the game. Like, what were you planning on doing? What happened?
First, I don't know the opponent, so I don't really know what he was going to do. So I was like, okay, there is water. This is Florida. I'm just going to boom water. But he's going to rush me with a native, like a fast rush. So I forgot my water boom and tried to hold the rush with the Agra and the TC, trying to not lose vills. And yeah, just hold the rush and try to get the water after the rush to have a decent echo and try to win the game.
Okay, that makes sense. So you're just going through the typical first actions. You put about 3 vills on food, 3 on wood.
Yeah.
I've seen some Indian players start with like 6 vills on wood and 1 guy on food.
Yeah,
Why do you
that's what I do. It just depends on the start and of the crates. Like I always put 6 vills on the wood and all vills under the food when they pop out from the TC.
Okay, that makes sense. So now you're just scouting. Are you looking for mainly wood treasures at this moment, or tell me what was going through your mind?
On Florida, I try to find to pick up some ships first. Like as you can see, I scout
yeah,
on the
you're
mid
scouting
and on the
very
side.
aggressively. You're skipping treasures, everything.
Yeah, because India, as you know, you generate XP from the ships. So yeah, that's my first target.
Okay, fair enough. That's
and then I think every little treasure I can pick up, I try to pick it up. And yeah, I think I mainly pick the food treasure to up a bit faster. And
you run away from that treasure, which I think is really smart. I think normally people would try to fight and take it, but you just don't want to lose too much HP.
Yeah, it's important to not lose your explorer when you go for the water, because you don't want to give opponent 45 XP for sure. But you need your explorer to take the treasure in H2, because there are a lot of treasure on this map. So it's important, and plus your heroes can heal your units. So
okay, so prioritizing heroes over treasures makes sense.
Yeah.
And you're constantly hurting in that turkey hunt, even though it's so annoying. Everyone knows about how annoying the hunts are in Florida, so no surprises there. And you're mainly taking the single Carib blowgun treasures, which makes sense. They're easy for the Indian explorers to kill. So,
Yeah. That's an easy target.
and you grabbed, if you can make it out with them, 3 sheep from your German opponent's base, because he only has 1 scout. So really well played so far. So we're gonna skip. Yes, you get 800 food. You're gonna plop down Agra and base, defensive, covering the 2 hunts you have to the side. Makes sense. So I'll skip a little bit. I don't want to skip too much. You send
And
East
that's
India men. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, because I didn't know he was going to rush me, and I'm going to put a second dock on the south of the map a bit later. And yeah, he's going to rush me in. I mean, his units are going to be in my base just before I hit the edge up. So at this moment, I knew that I should stop a bit to boom water and make units quickly without losing this.
Yeah, so just to be clear for everyone, the Agra, he has no vills on it. It's 440 and the opponent's already aged up. And he has a shipment on the way. Right there, the dock rickshaw. So your opponent will be coming in soon. This is normal for India to age up later. But why aren't you putting down a consulate, allying Ottoman, any of that? Talk to me about that a little bit.
About the consulate?
Yeah, or like the Ottoman Minutemen is not as important. It's better to just get the things going. Like the dock, get a boat out, get MM. Like you're not collecting gold for Minutemen either. I guess I'm curious. What?
Yeah. From there, I knew that the native isn't really scary because this is I don't know the English name of the units, but I know
The blowgunner and Seminole, Archer.
The siege of the units is really bad, so I know it can't really destroy my TC or even my Agra. So I just need to not lose this, and you can still make fishing boats. Like you can still make your vills in the wood. And from the consulate, I don't really make consulate early. I mean, it's 8 minutes, something like that. I make the consulate.
Oh, I see.
And it's not really important to have it early because the units are just bad, so you don't really need to defend a really hard rush. Like, so you can just make the consulate, how to say, like you delay the building to make fishing boats instead.
Okay. So you have like 2 little bases going on here. You have your Agra base and your TC base, and you have 2 docks.
Yeah.
One on his side even spitting out boats.
Yeah.
He is gonna kill some houses, but you're gonna get a lot of shots off.
Yeah, nothing important.
Yeah.
Like I know I have the advantage because he can destroy my base. I am booming water. I even send the foreign logging. So I know I have a better echo than him, and he can't really push me. So I'm just fine. I'm just.
He has no siege. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Until he make dubs, but he doesn't make dubs, so that's okay. But yeah, the consulate, you can delay it and still take the Ottoman because of the vills and the Minutemen and hussars.
So here, I want to note actually for the viewers, you only had 4 sepoy, like you had, right? You had 2 and then you trained 2, if I watched that correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you only had 4 sepoy. You called your Minutemen the hand sentries. And what I thought was really impressive is your micro is good where you eliminate multiple units, but you still have 4 sepoy. And you still have your 2 explorers. So you didn't lose anything. You lost free MM.
Yeah.
But he's thinned out a lot. You lost 2 houses though.
Yeah,
140 wood.
yeah,
So
but
you send 5. I don't know if
house.
you have
Yes,
32 vills and you probably have, I think, 16 land vills. I have no idea, but there's no way to differentiate. But still, a very good boom. Sorry, you were saying? I'm interrupting you.
I was just saying that it's okay to lose houses because it's cheaper. Like 70 wood, it's the price of a normal fishing boat.
Yeah.
And with East India men, the fishing boats are even cheaper, so it's okay if you lose some houses. I rather lose houses than vills.
Fair enough.
So
Fair enough.
you can just let him keep sieging you. Like it's not really important.
So now he's trying to attack your other side, but you're even stronger now. You're at 10 sepoys. You're gonna have, the Agra is really strong.
Yeah, yeah, it's easy to defend. Like his units are just a bit strong against heavy infantry, but it doesn't really have a lot of HP, so you can quickly kill his units with the Agra. Yeah, he can just
Oh, and
how
I
to
didn't
say.
even notice this, but you had a market out this whole time with a lot of
Yeah, it's the market is from the you have it at the start of the game on
Oh,
Florida.
Florida gives you a free market. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry. So you end up getting a lot of market upgrades in there in between.
yeah, that's yeah. The free market is really helpful.
Yeah, especially for India.
Yeah, especially if you go for water boom.
Yeah.
Like you save 100 for the start. That's pretty nice. And yeah, before I was just saying that the native units don't have a huge amount of HP, so it's easy to defend the rush with this kind of units.
Now with almost a 50 vil economy, way higher than his, you're upgrading all of it. Like all the market techs, all the fishing upgrades. You're getting 4 vils from Ottomans. You didn't send 300 exports, so you just paid for it. But that
No,
was
I
fun.
don't send the export because I rather send either the sepoys for the defense or either the fishing upgrades.
Yeah. You have a lot more other stuff to send. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I like that you built the docks in 2 different places. I never would think of
Yeah,
that.
for the lighter side. Yeah. Like it helps you to see if he's making a dock or if he's sending the 2 carrots. Like
True.
if he shields the carrots, it should pop on the south. So I have time to make boats from the upper dock to contest the water. But it's nice to put your docks in different places.
So now you're finally strong enough to push out, possibly. Or
Yeah.
what's your plan here?
The plan is just to camp in the base and to take all the water to have decent economy and just to outmass and just win the games at this point.
Okay.
Like
You have a 60 vil economy, you just switch to the Brits. You have no desire to go to H3. That's interesting.
just stay through, just upgrade the dock fishing upgrades, send both upgrade the fish from the home city and just mass.
Okay.
I mean the German player is still H2, so you don't really need to age up. Like you can easily crush his army with your army H2. Like basically the Indian army H2 is way better than the German one. So it's okay to stay H2, especially with the economy behind. So yeah, the goal is just to hold the rush, make a lot of fishing boats, don't lose vills, and you should be okay. if you can hold the rush.
Okay. So here you're mostly holding. You have a far superior economy, so you can just make a ton of troops. You ship the Sowar with your maid Sowar. You're castling up the whole map, so he will lose hunts, and then he resigns. Well,
Yeah, that's better to hunt near the coast because you can defend easily with the caravans if you pop one.
oh, okay.
And you can also put a castle. And later, if you send ships, you have the castle already up to contest the water.
Okay, so you kind of go along the coast until you're strong enough to go inland.
Yeah, the
That makes
coast is
sense.
always a cool spot.
Okay, I like it. Well played, GG.
Okay.
All right, well, so that concludes most of our series together. I can thank you again so much. That was
Thank you, man.
really well done, and I think we definitely got a lot of our questions answered. I'm taking a last look at everything. Yeah, I think we covered everything. Do you have any last tips for any new Age of Empires 3 players playing India?
The Civ is hard to play. That's true. Just don't forget to make vills. That's important.
Yeah. Oh, and the biggest tip you can give. So we just talked about how to be good as India. If you had to give an advice to a new player, because I've heard this all the time, how do I beat India? What do you suggest? Because for me, I always tell them raid India. 100 wood vills are hard to recover because wood's the hardest resource to collect. But what's your suggestion to beat India?
That's funny because I love playing India, but I hate playing against India. To beat India, I guess you need to play better. Like, it's easier, of course, if you play like Dutch, I'd say Chinese, Japan, or France. Yeah, basically every semi-FF series are better than India.
Say that again. So the last part.
I said that basically every semi-FF series are better than India.
Ah, okay.
But it of course depends of the player, of the map, of the treasure.
Yeah.
But I agree, it's hard to beat a really good India player. It's really hard to beat.
Okay.
Like
the
best.
Would you say there's a civ that completely crushes India, like a bad matchup?
Dutch. To me, it's Dutch. The worst, yeah, Dutch.
I agree with you on that, actually. It's really hard for me as India to beat Dutch because they can get up the banks really fast.
A good British player and a good French player is also very hard. Like the Mosque Falk timing is really hard to handle as India. Because you age up slower, fortress age. Like the British or the French player should be age 3 before you, so he has a bit more time to make veteran mosque falks to ship the both falks and to push you. But you have a window to send the elephant cannons, urumis, maybe not urumis, but elephant cannons, and to mass full sepoys, and try to hold not the rush, but the push.
Okay, I'd agree.
And don't forget to send the minutemen from the TC.
Yeah. So you're saying with the combination of this card, your urumi cards. So let me go to 1v1. For this card and urumi cards, you can you're able to hold that, the Jan Falk push or the veteran Musk Husk.
Basically, you need urumis, elephant change, and full sepoys to counter the Musk Falk push.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. Well, thank you so much, Tit Icon. That was really a fantastic interview, and look forward to having you on later for sure if you're interested. Otherwise, Just we'll be dropping your Twitch stream in the link
Okay.
in the
Yeah.
video, so no worries. People can
Okay,
follow
that's
you.
nice.
And cheers, man. Have a good night.
Yeah, thank you.
See you, everyone.